we've seen the underpinnings of the car and some of the exotic lightweight materials that were used in the manufacture. And now we still don't get to see the car because it's covered in this rather colourful camouflage. And with all those things that Stefan was talking about, where they saved weight using amazingly light materials, the result is a car that weighs 1,240 kilograms. Incredibly light for a 16-cylinder two-seater car. And if we come to the back, the heart of the car, we see, of course, the W16 engine. Now, this engine produces 1,600 horsepower on regular 98 octane fuel, but using 110 octane race fuel, it can produce 1,850 horsepower. So coupled with that low weight, this gives us a weight to power ratio of 0.67 kilograms per horsepower, and importantly, a weight to torque number of 0.67 kilograms per newton meter. So what does this actually give us in terms of performance on track? Well, the Bugatti engineers have done some simulations, and incredibly, this car could lap the Nordschleife in 5 minutes and 23 seconds. But then, importantly perhaps for me, I can relate to this very well, a lap of the Le Mans circuit in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. That's 7 seconds faster than any LMP car has ever lapped Le Mans. So incredible performance, and I really can't wait to try the car. So let's go. Wow, what an experience. This car really does react like a proper race car. Amazing grip, high speed, low speed, the balance feels amazing, but there's one key difference. This car accelerates like nothing else I've ever experienced in my life, almost out of this world. Really an amazing car, and I'm so glad I got to drive it. So what's left? We've seen the underpinnings, driven the car. Now I want to see what it really looks like. Let's go meet Achim. Wow, it looks absolutely stunning. What a car. We're always talking about form follows performance, and now I can see exactly what you mean.
At least in the very beginning, it was only form following performance. What really would happen if we strip a Bugatti Chiron of all its creature comfort and then position the driver quite a bit more extreme and lower in the car, and then almost shrink wrap an exterior around the driver and the technical components and make it an ultra minimal and ultra performant concept. That became the project Bolide. And then when I look at the frontal area of the car, actually all I can see now is form following performance. For the first time, we're streaming the air through the internal part, meaning inside of the front wheels around the main monocoque. So you can see that performance and aerodynamic development dominates the frontal appearance of the car. And when we go around the side, that story actually continues. Raw air into the roof scoop, hot air traveling along the cabin, fresh cool air traveling in this light blue channel towards the intercoolers, and then hot air coming from the water coolers through this enormous negative scoop behind the front wheel, and then cool air again traveling on the bottom into the oil coolers and exiting. So this goes to show how technology and aerodynamic handling really came first, and then we try to find a win-win, how we position the cabin between the wheels, give the car quite a bit more stance, and also apply a bit of Bugatti identity with it, which I hope can be realized.
It is unmistakably a Bugatti, and I can imagine that was not a work of the moment.
Took a moment, but then, it's actually an evolution of the C line of the Chiron. And then compare that to the Bugatti line of the Divo, is quite a bit more sporty. And here you have the ultimate sportiness, on the Bolide, where the Bugatti line becomes super fast and really nice and elongated in proportion.
So what's happening at the rear?
Come on, I'll show you. So you see here that the exhaust was put right in the center of the rear end, therefore allowing the diffuser having maximum performance width. And at the same time, it creates an architecture where everything around the exhaust really is there for extracting hot air from the engine compartment.
I noticed this X theme all over the car. So what's that all about?
That has something to do with the experimental nature of the project. You remember the film The Right Stuff? Chuck Yeager breaking the sound barrier
Absolutely.
for the very first time. For us, this was a similar approach to this project, this experimental track-focused car with the X graphics all around. But I think the most prominent, you see that on the frontal area. Now this remains probably my favorite view. You see the fuselage really arriving at the crash box, and everything ends with the Bugatti horseshoe here in the front. And then left and right you have this X graphic positioned all the way to the outside of the car, giving ultimate width expression into the exterior shape. And I like the reminiscence, to the classic X graphic over the glass of vintage race cars, which you find repeated here on the frontal graphic, but it also builds a bridge to the glorious days of Bugatti GP racing, in the 1920s and 1930s. This is Louis Chiron with his Type 51 winning in Monaco. And I think it's a wonderful analogy between the secret of success in those days, which was unmistakably the power-to-weight ratio, but it's a similar feeling, and it creates a link that we like very much.
So can we start it up again?
I was hoping you would ask that.